What's up, everybody? Nook is back here from our review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. But when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders and must redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves most. This is a very good film. I just saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for the first time yesterday before I went to go and see Across the Spider-Verse. The animation style in Into the Spider-Verse and the jokes worked phenomenally. I enjoyed that film a lot. This film, while it does have the jokes, it's more of a drama and action film. There are comedic beats here and there, but what works overall is the overall amount of characters here that they develop and so much attention to detail to each character. The animation styles are phenomenal here. So many animation styles that each scene can have its own animation style and it works for that specific scene. So many different animated styles from see, I'm not going to go into it because I would forget one and I can't even say them all in one video. This is a film that is one that needs to be seen on the big screen. At 2 hours and 20 minutes, it is a bit overly long. There are some scenes that do drag, particularly within the first act, maybe second act sometimes. And is there a bit too much going on for some people sometimes in this film? At times, yes. But what really works here is the overall story. Building all these characters up, giving us all these new characters while paying attention to the old characters. And I also enjoyed that we also got more Spider-Gwen. Gwen Stacy is a main figure in this film. Within the first 20 minutes, it's mainly her film for the first 20 minutes. Now, I will go into something in just a minute that I had happen in my theater, and I saw in a video that's happening around other theaters too. So, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, phenomenal animation. The script is phenomenal. We could have cut out a couple scenes here and there and trimmed them down a little bit, but those are my only two complaints. And there could be a bit too much going on for some people. This movie does something that I was expecting maybe a little bit, maybe like a cliffhanger and a post-credit scene, but the ending of this film, this is a part one. I know you've seen this in multiple reviews. This is a part one, but we are getting beyond the Spider-Verse next year, so we're going to see what happens with everybody, with everything that happens in the last couple of minutes. Everything is going to get resolved. This is a film that needs to be seen on the big screen. It is a phenomenally animated, written, and such an emotional film, diving into love, being a teenager, wanting friends, wanting to protect friends, and also family drama. We get more family drama between Miles and his parents. And we get that. They don't really go into that a whole lot, and I'm not going to fault that for it until we get into Beyond the Spider-Verse, because we don't know how all that is going to wrap up. They're building this as a really, really good film, and Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to bring everything together and answer all these questions. This film does have cameos, and I did enjoy those cameos, if you know what I'm talking about. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a phenomenally animated film, one of the best films of the entire year so far. I really enjoyed it from what I could hear of it, and again, I'll get into that in just a minute of it. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I'm going to give Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse an A-. I really did enjoy this one, and I cannot wait to see it again and see what we get from Beyond the Spider-Verse next year. So let's get into what happened at my theater. My theater, I was sitting there in my seat, and the trailer started to play. I got Elemental, Indiana Jones, and the Temple of Doom. Sorry. Elemental, Indiana Jones, and the Dial of Destiny, and Wish. I couldn't hear the dialogue. The dialogue was so quiet, it was so low, and I was hoping that it would just pick back up to a normal volume once we got to the film. And sadly, it did not. The first opening monologue, the first 20 minutes, it was hard to hear, so I go out to the lobby, and I'm looking for the theater manager. She's nowhere to be seen, so I wait for an employee. and I was out there for maybe like a good minute to a minute and a half, and I said, "Hey man," and eventually here comes a worker, and I see him coming, and I'm like, "Hey man, there's something wrong with our film. It's just a little too quiet. You can't really tell what the characters are saying." And he says, "Yeah, we've been having that issue." And I'm like, "Okay." First, I thought it was our speakers, and it wasn't the speakers because I'm standing outside of the other theater because my theater has two theaters and they're side by side. The Little Mermaid is playing in the other theater, and I can clearly hear Part of Your World playing. So I knew it wasn't the overall speakers because the score and the action was loud in my movie. But the dialogue, the characters speaking, was so quiet at some points that I could barely hear it. You really had to pay very close attention to it. And it's just a issue that's happening at some theaters, so I don't know if it's a file issue or something, or if they were just sent like bad copies or something. I don't know. But I spoke to a friend of mine, and he said that both times that he's seen it, he hasn't had that issue. So, I don't know. But there's my review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and I will see all of you guys next time.